Hi. One thing I will not tolerate people saying about me is that I don't like beer, because I love beer and I always have. You know that feeling when you have something uncomfy like sitting on your chest? Well, that's how I feel right now. So this feels like the right thing to do. I took a brand deal with a company that I loved, and I posted a sponsored video to my page. And it must have been a slow news week, because the way that this ad got blown up, you would have thought I was like on a billboard or on a TV commercial or something major. But no, it was just an Instagram video. And you might be thinking, Dylan, why bring it up now? I'm bringing it up because what transpired from that video was more bullying and transphobia than I could have ever imagined.
More than I think anybody could have imagined. Now, that's if you're an unfamiliar, Dylan Mulvaney. She's a transgender influencer, and she finally broke her silence after her brand deal with Bud Light turned into an ongoing right-wing hate campaign. As you probably remember, Mulvaney was one of several influencers who were sent a commemorative can with their face on it. Here's a picture. And she made a short video featuring Bud Light and displaying the can. But hers was the only one of these, multiple brand sponsorship deals that caused conservatives like Kid Rock to purchase and then shoot an entire case of Bud Light with an AR. Everyone remembers this idiotic video from this very idiotic man. Now, Mulvaney has been laying low for several months since the backlash and revealed that she's been stalked and harassed.
And I should have made this video months ago, but I didn't. And I was scared, and I was scared of more backlash, and I felt personally guilty for what transpired. So I patiently waited for things to get better. But surprise, they haven't really. And I was waiting for the brand to reach out to me, but they never did. And for months now, I've been scared to leave my house. I have been ridiculed in public. I've been followed. And I have felt a loneliness that I wouldn't wish on anyone. And I'm not telling you this because I want your pity. I am telling you this because if this is my experience from a very privileged perspective, know that it is much, much worse for other trans people.
Now, I've been following this right-wing hate campaign against Dylan Mulvaney and, in effect also against Bud Light since it began. But the one thing that really shocked me watching her response was that Bud Light never even reached out to her. Not one time.
For a company to hire a trans person and then not publicly stand by them is worse, in my opinion, than not hiring a trans person at all, because it gives customers permission to be as transphobic and hateful as they want. And the hate doesn't end with me. It has serious and grave consequences for the rest of our community. And we're customers too. I know a lot of trans and queer people who love beer, and I have some lesbian friends who could drink some of those haters under the table. But to turn a blind eye and pretend everything is okay, it just isn't an option right now. And you might say, but Dylan, I don't want to get political. Babe, supporting trans people, it shouldn't be political.
And when the right-wing outrage was sparked, Anheuser-Busch published the most ridiculously vague open letter titled "Our Responsibility to America." And it says nothing of substance in it, and then attempts to align itself with first responders and sports fans instead of those damn gays. From their letter, we have thousands of partners, millions of fans, and a proud history supporting our communities, military, first responders, sports fans, and hardworking Americans everywhere. We never intended to be a part of a discussion that divides people. We are in the business of bringing people together over a beer, which is ridiculous because what is the division? They don't see trans people as human. They're bad people. The people who don't respect trans people are bad people. You shouldn't want to align yourself with those people. Of course, it's a corporation. All they want to do is get your money. But I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. And they've done it again because after Mulvaney broke her silence and revealed that Bud Light abandoned her, they released another generic statement that said absolutely nothing at all. As we've said, we remain committed to the programs and partnerships we have forged over decades with organizations across a number of communities, including those in the LGBTQ plus community, a spokesperson said. The privacy and safety of our employees and our partners is always our top priority. As we move forward, we will focus on what we do best, brewing great beer for everyone. Meanwhile, you absolutely abandoned Dylan Mulvaney after your brand partnership with her resulted in just an onslaught of harassment that the likes of which I've never seen before. There is a video of Project Veritas following her into a bathroom, harassing her on the street. The death threats that she was receiving were shocking and disgusting. And you couldn't even reach out. They couldn't be bothered to actually do anything to protect her and insulate her from these attacks or stand by her. They couldn't even email her. Disgusting and shameful. But if you needed any proof of the vitriol that Dylan Mulvaney has been subjected to, just read the way that the Daily Fail has covered this story. Why will nobody kiss me? Dylan Mulvaney's man to girl transition. Why the hell did they phrase it like that? Has won her TikTok fame, riches, and allies in the White House, but left her lonely and undateable. And you know what? To be fair, Dara, they view Dylan Mulvaney as a woman because they would never talk about a man like that.
I was just gonna say that. And I just want to bring up what a bold move it was for Bud Light to call their beer great beer in that statement. That was ballsy. I wouldn't okay. Sure, Bud Light, great beer. Yeah, this whole thing is just if she was not a she, they would never write about her dating life, her dating history, her dateability, none of that. No one would ever do that to a man. It's just to a woman. And Bud Light should absolutely be ashamed of themselves because all they did was prove that they have terrible PR. All that money that Bud Light brings in and they can't hire effing good PR team, really?
Right.
Like it's terrible that behind the scenes they weren't reaching out to Dylan, but they really weren't doing anything to stand by and prove to be allies. All they're proving is that they thought that they saw a market in trans community and they tried to align with it. And then they went and they basically backed down to a group of people who get triggered over light refraction and like the color spectrum. Okay, like it's all about money, and we need to all remember that it's capitalism that is doing all of this, fueling all of this. All this division is completely fueled by capitalism.
Yeah, especially if you look deep into like Bud Light and their history of donations to right-wing causes and right-wing candidates.
Yep.